Hi, welcome back to Empower Autism. My name is Joseph Shade. I'm a behavior analyst. And at Empower Autism, our goals are just to provide parents with the information and tools that are necessary to help their child. It's also to empower individuals with autism to lead independent and healthy lives. So, today we want to talk about eye contact. What is it? Should we require it from our child with autism? Do we need it? And this is a tough question. And really, unfortunately, the answer is probably going to be that it depends. But let's delve a little bit deeper here. Let's sift into the information and see what we come up with. But for number one, why do we use eye contact in our daily lives? Why is it a part of our lives? Uh, the number one reason is that it's going to show attention, right? If a person is looking at me while I'm talking, I know that that person is attending to what I'm saying. And vice versa, if they are talking and I'm making eye contact with them, they know that I'm listening to what they are saying. So there's that attention component involved with making eye contact. There's also a social communication component. There's Eye contact can be used as a social communication tool to add extra information into what we're saying, right? To add extra context for us. So eye contact can tell you things like fear, anger, happiness, sadness, distress. There's a lot of information that can be translated using eye contact. And this social communication part might not be as accessible to individuals with autism. They most likely have more difficulty accessing what that eye contact means, what that eye contact provides in addition to just general conversation, just general verbal information. So we also know that there are great cultural differences revolving around eye contact. In the Western Hemisphere, we use eye contact all the time. It shows that you're attending. It's a sign of respect that you're listening to the person that is talking to you. But if we're talking about the Eastern Hemisphere, that eye contact is not as prevalent. It's not as important as in the Western Hemisphere. Even children who make direct eye contact with elders might be showing signs of disrespect. So eye contact is not as significant there. So that begs the question, do we really need eye contact? If two parts of the world can look at eye contact differently, is it really necessary for individuals with autism to engage in eye contact? So, what are the problems with eye contact in autism? We know that they are it takes more time, it takes teaching to teach eye contact, right? We see this in ABA programs all of the time. We are requiring eye contact. We are teaching look at me and have the child look at the individual. We are teaching eye contact when engaging in communication skills, when teaching communication skills. But what is the problem? Why is that a problem? Why shouldn't we teach that? Number one, we know that requiring eye contact from an individual with autism can lead to higher levels of stress and higher levels of anxiety. This is from self reports from individuals with autism who are able to communicate this distress, right? So, eye contact, requiring it, is leading to higher levels of stress and anxiety in that individual. So, that right there is a problem. And if that was the only thing on the board here, the answer would be easy, right? We do not need to require eye contact. We should not require eye contact. Unfortunately, there's more to the story here, though. There's new research out of the Journal of Behavioral Modification, and it's going to be Silva and Fisk 2020. And what they did was look at how eye contact between an instructor and a learner increased or decreased learning acquisition in that learner. And what they found was that when eye contact was required, this led to increases in learning. Right. So now this is where we've met our problem, right? We know that requiring eye contact might increase stress and anxiety, but now research is telling us that eye contact also increases the level of learning for an individual. And the reason for that increase in level of learning is probably the attention component, right? So if we require eye contact when teaching, I know that that child is attending to me, and now that's going to increase the level of learning. If that child is not attending, is not making eye contact with me, I cannot be sure that that child is attending, and now we're going to get decreases in our level of learning. So there are problems though with this research article. Number one is that there's not a lot of research. This is the only research article that I could find in this area. If anybody has any more, please comment it, link it, whatever. I would love to read them. Um, but so we definitely need more research in this area. Does eye contact really help with learning? Is it different areas of learning? How can we increase it? Number two is that we don't control for attention, right? So we know in the Western Hemisphere that providing eye contact leads to attention. It shows that the person is attending. However, we can teach different ways of showing attending. We can teach ways of having the individual just face forward, feet facing the person that's talking. Right? Maybe I don't require eye contact. Maybe that person can look at the floor. But if they're facing me directly, I know that they're attending. We can teach that differently. We can also teach to them shaking their head yes if they are attending, right? Now I know that that person is attending if they're shaking their head yes, even though they are not looking at me, even though they are not making eye contact with me. And then if your child is verbal, we can teach, oh, I hear what you're saying. And if your child is very functional and has a lot of great abilities and they're able to say, engage in a conversation with a stranger or a store clerk and let them know, hey, even though I'm not looking at you, I am hearing what you're saying. We can teach all of those things. So we definitely need more research here to control for attending. How do we know that the the child that was not making eye contact didn't learn as much just because they weren't attending, right? It's not really the eye contact that leads, or at least we think, it's not really the eye contact that leads to more learning. It's the attending that is going to lead to more learning. So let's teach alternate behaviors here, especially if eye contact is stressful for your child. If they can verbalize or you can see it in them that eye contact is very difficult. It leads to higher levels of stress. It leads to higher levels of anxiety. We can teach different behaviors just looking at, just standing facing the individual, just shaking your head yes, verbalizing that you're paying attention. That's how we can teach attending skills. And this is definitely not something that is mainstream in ABA. I would really love to see it more often in different programs and different areas, but let's teach those alternate abilities. Let's teach those alternate behaviors and let's do research on that. Let's research if those behaviors, if I conduct the same experiment as Silva and Fisk did in 2020, if we just teach attending as shaking your head yes, if I'm learning while doing that, that's great. Let's just do that. Right? Let's give this person the independence not to make eye contact, not to look you directly in the eye. If that makes them uncomfortable, if that leads to stress, leads to anxiety, why do we need to do that at all? But unfortunately, the research is not out there. It's not being taught in mainstream ABA. I would love for it to be taught elsewhere, to be used elsewhere. So again, overall, the answer is it depends on your child. Is it leading them to stress? Is it leading them to anxiety? Then maybe let's try these alternate behaviors. If your child is okay with learning eye contact and learning those social communication tools, that's fantastic. Let's teach that. That's awesome. But if it's leading to that stress, it's leading to that anxiety, let's try alternate attending behaviors so we know that when our child is attending to what we're saying, when they're attending to what an instructor is saying or what the instruction is. But yeah, if you have more links to research on this, I would love to see them. Or if you have more ideas on this, I would love to hear about them. Please comment, like, subscribe. We have a lot of different videos to help parents with autism. Check out our shorts for very quick tips. But this has been Empower Autism and providing eye contact. Hopefully, see you soon.